Christianity, when it's been properly practiced, has unleashed so much good on this world, it can't even be calculated. And if there had been no such thing as Christianity, you think the world is bad now? There's no description for the hell-like conditions that this planet would be in right now if it hadn't been for the millions upon millions of followers of Christ who have lived over these last 2,000 years. It started right away. The first Christians began caring for all those that the Roman and pagan world had kicked to the curb, and it continues to our very time today. You look behind the scenes of every human agency that helps people that's ever existed. You look at hospitals and schools and charities and relief work that is done. You look at things like Salvation Army and YMCA and World Vision. You look at all the societal movements that have happened over the centuries that have bettered humanity, pushing back against slavery, protecting women and orphans and refugees down to our time, where we find people that are fighting against sex trafficking and standing up for the unborn. Who do you find in all these places where this good is being done? You don't have to look very far and you'll find them. Followers of Jesus Christ, promoting good wherever they can. I'm so proud of our leadership team. You know, when things started to fall apart the other day and everything was being canceled and shut down, NBA and hockey and baseball and the whole thing, we got together that night via a conference call, and the theme we kept coming back to in our 2-hour conversation, we talked for almost 2 hours, was what can we do to use this as an opportunity for our church to do good in our community? How can we serve people during this time? And that's a good question that every church should periodically ask themselves to see if they're on track, to see if they're on mission. What difference does it make in our community that we are here? George Bailey learned that if he hadn't been born, the world would have been a lot darker without him in it. Can the same be said of us, Bridgeway? Or if you're watching from another place and go to another church, could the same be said of your church and your community? What would happen if suddenly you weren't there? Once I wrote down a list of all the things that should take place in a community over time if a church is being faithful in its mission. And I wrote down these things. I'm going to put these on the slide and just jot a few of these things down to think about. I mean, first and foremost, souls will be saved for eternity. That's the main thing. We're only on earth for a short time. We are eternal souls. We were made by God and for God. You miss that, you miss everything. But once that is in place, look at all these blessings that flow out from that. Marriages will be restored in a community where the church is serving and loving faithfully. Addictions will be broken. Suicides will be prevented. People will escape financial bondage. Grieving will find comfort. Hopeless will find a purpose for living. Lonely will find companionship. Boy, my prayer for us during this time is that there's not one person who considers himself a part of the Bridgeway family. There's not one person that will suffer real loneliness during this time. We're going to be that close to each other. Crime will drop. School hallways will become safer. Teen pregnancies will be reduced. Racial tension will lessen. The poor will be cared for. The hungry will be fed. All these blessings will ripple out if a church is acting faithfully, loving as it should. And I hope, my friends, just even hearing this, you're catching a fresh glimpse this morning of how vital we are to our community. And Bridgeway, that you get it, how important it is that we're here in our towns, in St. Mary's County, in all of southern Maryland. May we be unleashed to serve God and our neighbors with renewed vigor and hope during this season.